Did the child gamble with the potential success of The Mandalorian, or was he destined to capture our hearts and make the show a must-watch for Star Wars fans new and old? And could the team behind The Mandalorian predict exactly how big a hit he'd be? Let's discuss how cuteness meant Baby Yoda fever was actually our collective destiny, and how the child does more for The Mandalorian than merely provide it with a cynical merchandising opportunity.
Spaceballs the doll. Me.
May the Schwartz be with you.
So let's start here.
Please welcome to the stage, Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau!
In April 2019, I was lucky enough to attend the Mandalorian panel at Star Wars Celebration Chicago. The panel was largely technical, focusing on the Razor Crest, some of the motion control that they had the cameras going through, the 501st's involvement, and the influences behind the story. They showed us an extended version of this scene between the titular Mandalorian and the client, played by Werner Herzog. But they didn't spoil anything big. I walked away excited and thinking I knew exactly what to expect from the show. Bounties and blasters.
We have you 4-1.
I like those odds.
But when the show debuted in October of the same year, what I, and probably nobody else, was expecting was this.
Perhaps it could live many centuries.
What a secret to have kept, and what a reveal. But let's rewind for just a second. You see, up until the child appeared, I had some concerns from episode 1, lingering doubts. Would this just be the Star Wars dressed Western shoot-'em-up that I had already expected? How was I going to feel invested in a main character whose face is never shown and barely speaks?
The man with no name. Danger fits him like a tight black glove. He is, perhaps, the most dangerous man who ever lived.
I don't think it's nice you laughing.
Most of us know the man with no name gunslinger type character, and they typically work really well within the confines of a feature film. But how would Mando be enough to carry an entire show through multiple seasons? When faced with the reality of the expectations I already had, I wasn't sure if they were what I wanted.
There is one job. Let's see the puck.
The Mandalorian Episode 1 had, so far, been a fairly generic MacGuffin quest. In story terms, a MacGuffin is an object sought by both our protagonist and antagonist, which keeps the plot moving forward. It could be the plans to a superweapon, an ancient artifact, a glowing briefcase. The object is usually something the audience doesn't actually care about, but a catalyst that forces our hero into sticky situations they must learn and grow from. And by witnessing that growth, we form an emotional attachment to the character. An exception is Luke Skywalker in The Force Awakens, a living, breathing MacGuffin with a collectively shared backstory. We care about Luke, so we're instantly invested in the quest to find him. We don't just want to find him for the sake of Rey or the Resistance, we also don't want the First Order to get there first, because we want Luke to be safe. Because the Mandalorian is a bounty hunter, making the MacGuffin a living being seems almost a given. But how do you make the audience care for it and instantly become invested in its well-being? You make it cute. That's it. That's the video. Roll credits. Okay, no. But is making the child cute the answer? Let's look at the science. This is Dr. Konrad Lorenz, one of the major proponents for cute as a scientific concept, grounded firmly in the study of ethology, which is the study of animal behavior. In 1971, Lorenz, with his concept of baby schema, found that humans feel affection for animals with juvenile features: large eyes, bulging craniums, retreating chins. Small-eyed, long-snouted animals do not elicit the same response. But Lorenz was studying this as far back as the 1940s. In 1949, he stated that these kinds of infantile features serve a biological function and are an evolutionary adaptation that triggers a nurturing response in adults. And this ensures that babies are cared for, and thus it ensures the survival of our species. Scientifically, it seems the child wasn't just a gimmick or a gamble. Even if nobody at Lucasfilm used the science to back the idea, this paternal association with cuteness is embedded deep within our species. It's why children are used frequently as motivating plot devices in fiction, and why there was probably a part of you that knows why it works, even at a subconscious level without me telling you. The gamble of The Mandalorian was never anything to do with a green puppet. Unless of course they chose this design for Baby Yoda.
Hey, I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul!
Swallow this.
Welcome to our shared nightmare. The gamble was that our protagonist, our hero, barely speaks. He doesn't show his face, and his blast-em-up way of solving problems would get boring week after week. After all, the golden age of 90s action shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, or Renegade is over.
He was a cop and good at his job, but he committed the ultimate sin and testified against other cops gone bad. Cops that tried to kill him, but got the woman he loved instead. Framed for murder, now he prowls the Badlands, an outlaw hunting outlaws, a bounty hunter, a renegade.
If Mando, as we meet him in episode 1, is to be our lead through multiple seasons of this show, that kind of stoicism we put up with from Max in Fury Road or The Man with No Name wouldn't hold our interest or allow us to relate to him as a protagonist. It's this moment where the Mandalorian finally locates the MacGuffin, peers into its eyes, and shoots IG-11 to protect it, that we realise our hero is more than just guns blazing. There's a heart under that armour. In an instant, the Mandalorian and we too have made a deep, biologically driven decision that the well-being of this child, the child, is what will motivate us to move forward with this faceless gunslinger. By the end, Mando will be different. Parenting changes people, and we'll be going on that ride with him.
Take care of this little one.
Or maybe it'll take care of you.
It's here that a simple, maybe not even conscious decision to keep the child cute ultimately pays off. The Mandalorian wouldn't just be a run-of-the-mill action series. It's a different show than all of that. But thanks to the child, it wasn't as much a gamble as it was a sure thing. And now this.